Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah. Renegade.
Ready?
Renegade, yes.
Hi, I'm Andy.
And I'm Alex, and we are
Primed!
So we are very good friends, and we started Primed because we want everyone to love painting as much as we do.
Yeah, so I will be the one walking you through the painting video today, but you can feel free to do your own thing or follow me exactly. It's up to you. I just want you to love what you make and have fun.
And we really want to see what you make, so when you're done, make sure you post your final painting on Instagram and use the hashtag #PrimedPaintings and tag us at Primed Fine Arts so we can see what you make.
Happy painting!
Hi everyone, and welcome to our Golden Forest video. Go ahead and do step 1 and 2. Get your paper towel and get everything ready so we can jump in and start painting. I'm going to begin by taking my large brush and adding some white paint and just the littlest bit of blue. I'm going to be creating my mountain. Make sure you really mix your paint and get a nice icy color. My paint's feeling a little thick, so I added some water. Feel free to do the same. About 3/4 of the way up, I'm going to make the tip of my mountain, and I'm going to pull and make kind of a triangle. This little beginning triangle zigzag shape is just going to set me up for the rest of my mountain. You can feel free to make your own mountain landscape here, or you can follow mine exactly. I'm just pulling some peaks how I think will look good. There's no rhyme or reason as long as you get kind of a mountain gist. This is why this is a level 3. It takes a little bit of drawing ability. All right, and now I'm going to add my first trees. They're going to be at the base of the mountain, so I'm mixing a medium gray color using my black and my white, and I'm going to be just going to the base and making some vertical lines. Throughout this video, I'll be referencing making a tree shape. I basically mean pulling vertical lines like this and then taking my brush and going back in a perpendicular kind of mark to create a tree. I have switched to my small brush. I will be switching between my small brush and my big brush a lot in this video. It just depends on what kind of mark I'm trying to make. These are way in the distance, so they're kind of small, so I figure I can use my small brush. All right, back to my big brush. I am now going to add some black to that same gray I was using, and I'm going to make a large tree on the left side of my canvas. So going almost to the top, but not quite, and pulling down, and then feathering out my brush strokes to make a Christmas tree type of shape. All right, so now I'm going to be adding some more white to that dark gray color to make a tree on the right side of my canvas. And I am pulling out, being sure to keep the strokes short up at the top and then making them bigger and bigger as I go down. Now this painting is a level 3 because we are going to be dealing with some perspective. So these trees are supposed to be kind of in the distance, and then we will layer on top of them as trees get closer and closer to us. All right, grabbing my clean paint brush again, I'm using my big one this time. I'm going to take some of the yellow and the littlest amount of black you can imagine, like that was almost too much, and some pink. And I'm gonna make a kind of mustard color, so you might need to add way more yellow. Once you have a nice mustard color, like a dark mustard, add some white to it to lighten it just a little bit so that it's a gold. I'm now going to be layering this on top of my dark gray tree, and I'm going to make sure that the gray tree underneath is mainly dry because I don't want too much pollution of my color. And I'm making a gold tree. I'm making sure that this gold tree also connects to the faintest gray trees that are underneath the mountain, starting to connect them to the scene. I would get as close of a placement as you can to what I'm doing just so that everything perspective wise is okay. So try to keep it relatively close to what I'm doing. And then I'm going to add one more to the very right side going off the canvas. I'm now going to take my brush, and I didn't bother cleaning it. It's okay if it's got a little gold. I'm mixing a light pink with the white and the pink. And I'm going to be adding this one between the gold trees, overlapping the gold and some of the gray, and then pulling out, making those feathered branches again. And I'm coming all the way to the bottom. I am going to cover up the bottom, so don't worry about making it perfect at the bottom, but I am going to go ahead and bring these trees. These are the closest to us, so they're going to be the longest. So go ahead and bring them all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my little brush to add some more detail. All right, now I'm going to be adding some highlights to my gold trees. So I'm going to go back and take my yellow and some white, making a much lighter gold this time. And I am using my small brush because I'm going back and doing details. And I'm going to pull right down straight through the middle of the tree and then pull outward, but not going all the way out so that it looks like it has a dark halo around it almost. And I'm going to do this to all of my gold trees. This is going to add depth and just give a little bit of interest. I am going to do this with all of my trees, but I'm starting with the gold ones. So I clean my brush and I grab my little brush again, and now I'm going back into my gray trees. Now later I will decide that this was a little bit too light and I'm going to darken it, but that just goes to show, even if you don't like something that you do, if you feel like you've messed up a layer, you can always go back and tone it down later. That gray winds up being more perfect for the tree on the right than the tree on the left. So feel free to add your details to your gray trees. Make them as lifelike as possible. As many little thin branches as you can fit on there. All right, once you're happy with your details, we're going to start to add the black trees. This is going to be our foreground, and you want them to naturally frame your picture. So taking some pure black on your large brush, go ahead and start to create the trees going all the way to the bottom of your canvas, and have them be kind of shorter in the middle and then get taller as you go out. That's going to create that nice frame for us. These black trees provide such a nice contrast. They really are going to be adding a lot of perspective to our piece as well. I am now taking my smaller brush and adding some small details to the black. And I'm going to start to speed through this process because it's the same movement as before, and I'm just doing it all the way across the bottom. Now I'm going to grab my small brush again, and I'm going to go back into the mountain. I'm going to take some of that icy blue color, I'm going to mix a fresh batch, and I'm just going to add some detail. Mainly I'm going to be adding white, but it just looked a little flat back there, so I'm going to try to add some interest. If you like your mountain, you can feel free to skip this step. I think it adds a little bit of depth. All right, now I'm going to be taking some pure white, and down at the bottom, wherever my white of the canvas was showing, I'm just going to go ahead and make those some little white trees. They're going to be smaller than the rest of them, but it's just playing with that positive and negative space type of idea, where the negative space of the canvas then becomes positive space with the trees. I just really think it adds a little something, and it brings the white of the canvas from the top down into the bottom, and it just makes the whole piece really work together. I'm using my same tree-like movements, just pulling out, making sure they're skinnier at the top like a Christmas tree. And it's okay if you get a little bit on the black or vice versa. You can always get black on your brush and fix it later. So I'm fixing some of my black trees right now. You can always layer more, so no worries about that. All right, then I'm taking my clean small brush again, and I'm just going to add some layers to the pink trees because we didn't earlier. So I'm mixing a very, very light pink, and I'm going to be going into the middle of the trees, similar to how we did the gold and the gray. And I'm just going to be adding a little bit of depth to them. The more layers it has, the more in-depth and rich it looks. So make sure you're really taking the time to layer the paint. All right, now some final tweaks. I am going to take some gray, mixing a very, very dark gray, and I'm toning down that tree like how I said earlier. I wasn't happy with it. And I'm adding some darkness to the other tree. These might look different for all of you guys though. If you like your trees, leave them. If you feel like your pink trees are too dark, lighten them up. I am going to go back into that very back forest and add some darkness. It gives it just a little bit of depth. But that's also optional because I liked it the light gray too. So I'm just adding a couple of little gray trees here and there just for a little bit of added interest. Again, these are optional. Once you're done cleaning up and you're happy with your piece, you are finished. I hope you enjoyed painting this golden forest. Please like us on Instagram and Facebook, and please, please show us your work. We want to see it. Use the hashtag primed paintings, and we would be so happy to see you and feature you. And thanks so much for joining us. I hope you really enjoyed it.